Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashatarashatashmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashatarashatashmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashatarashatashmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashatarashatashmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pavishta Mahabhagavat Shila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pavishta Shila Satchitaranda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pavishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Patadash Raghunath Sharda Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nama Chaish Lahairas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishya Bharata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Raseshwari Mataji, Gargaraj ji, Dandavat Pranam, Savitri Didi, Madhavi Didi, Dandavat Pranams to all of you. Hari Bol. So, again, I'm in the same situation as I was in yesterday. The Wi-Fi is not working, and I'm just using my mobile data. But some days my mobile data works better than other days. So, as soon as I start cutting out, let me know, and I'm not going to put you through what I put you through yesterday with all the trouble with the internet. I'll just stop and start again when I have Wi-Fi again. So yeah, let me know as soon as it cuts out. You can let me know on WhatsApp because then I get a notification. I don't get a notification when you post here. Dandavat pranams Indira Mataji. I hope your Wi-Fi, I hope both of our internets work. Let's see what happens. So, okay, cool. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhika Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya esha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya krishna prema pradayate krishnaya krishna chaitanya namne gauratvishe namaha. Gurave gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tar Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedus Tang Sarva Bhutta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet. Shrinvatang Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantasto Hyabadrani Vidhunoti Suhrit Satam. Nashta Prayeshvabadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Tavaivasmi na jivami tvaya vina. Itti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay. Kshiptashtakama ditaranka madhe. Kripa maitvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just testing connections like Dandavat Pranams, Rup Manjari Didi. Oh, well, download looks great. Oh my god, that's like the same on my Wi-Fi. Wow. I've never remember seeing my mobile data going that fast with download. Let's see how it goes with the upload, though. That's the main thing. I need the upload to be really good. Well, it's decent. It's not good, but it's not bad either. It's just kind of... Okay. Looks like it's working, though, pretty well. So, yesterday I actually divided everything all the way to the end of the 9th canto. And I saw we're going to have 16 more readings until we reach the end. So just a little over 2 weeks. It would have been really cool if we could finish on Akshay Tritiya. That would be such a great day to start the 10th canto, but we're just 2 days after Akshay Tritiya. Anyhow, doesn't matter. Okay. The pastimes of the Supreme Lord, Lord Ramachandra. Okay, so Katvanga's dynasty. Katvanga, Dirgabahu, Raghu, Aja, Dasharat. And then from Dasharat, the 4 Vishnu Tattva forms of the Supreme Lord who appeared in response to the prayers of the demigods. That's Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. There's Lord Ram and Sita Devi. Shukadev Goswami told Parikshit, Lord Ram's transcendental activities have been described by Tattvadarshis, or great saints who have seen the truth. Because you have heard them repeatedly, I shall describe them only in brief. Lord Ramachandra gave up his kingdom to keep his father's promise, and walked in the forest on his delicate lotus feet that were unable to bear even the soft touch of Sita's palms. His fatigue of walking was relieved by Hanuman and Lakshman. He cut off the nose and ears of Shurparnaka and was separated from Sita. He became angry at the ocean, constructed a bridge across the ocean, and entered Ravana's kingdom. May that Lord Ramachandra, who burns the forest of demons, protect us. May Ram, killer of demons such as Maricha in Vishwamita's sacrifice, give us protection. During Sita's Swayamvar, Ram strung the heavy bow of Shiva, carried by 300 men, and broke it just as a baby elephant breaks a sugarcane. He married Sita Devi, who was endowed with a beautiful form, behavior, age, and nature. Indeed, she was Lakshmi, who rests on the Lord's chest. On the way to Ayodhya, Ramachandra destroyed the pride of Parshuram, who rid the earth of the royal order 21 times. Ram went to the forest with Sita, unhesitating up his kingdom, opulence, friends, etc., just as a liberated soul gives up his life. In the forest, Ram disfigured Ravana's sister by cutting off her nose and ears. He killed her 14,000 Rakshasa friends headed by Kara, Trishira, and Dushana. 10-headed Ravana was agitated by lust on hearing about Sita's beauty from Shurparnaka. To lure Ram from his ashram, Ravana sent Maricha in the disguise of a golden deer, and Ram followed the deer and finally killed it with a sharp arrow. Wolf, like Ravana, kidnapped Sita in the absence of Lord Ram. And there's a note here. Actually, it was impossible for Ravana Sita Devi. The form of Sita taken by Ravana was an illusory representation of Sita. When Sita was in the fire after Ravana's death, this Maya Sita was burnt, and the real Sita came out of the fire. Then Ram lamented in separation from Sita, showing the condition of a materialistic person attached to women. The materialistic was in parentheses, so showing the condition of a person attached to women. And there's a note here. Lord Rama is a source and reservoir of all spiritual pleasure. He cannot experience material suffering. His separation, his Vipralamba from Sita Devi, was an activity of his pleasure potency, Ladini. His dealings of conjugal love, Shingaras, displayed spiritual emotions, sattvic and sanchari bhavs like lamentation, vilap, fainting, murcha, and madness, unmada, and separation from Sita. That's Ravana coming in the disguise of a saint to kidnap Mother Sita. Don't do it. All right, so yesterday we read up to 14, but I think a few of the verses it cut out while I was reading. So I'm just going to start from 12. Right, that's what Madhavi Didi said. Hare Krishna, Prajumna Prabhu, and Mantramurti Mataji, and Shasharmaji, and Kishore Prabhu. Oh yes, thank you for reminding me, Manjari Didi. Let's not forget about Ganga Didi. Yeah. There's heavy storms there and powers, hopefully we should message her. Yeah, she's still without her house and may not get it back. The whole area is in bad shape. Yeah, let's all pray for Ganga Didi. Thank you, Manjari Didi. All right. Tagdvatmakritya hatakritam ahankabandham sakyam vidaya kapibir daita gatim tai budvatavalini hate plavagendra sainyar velam agat samanujo jabavar chitangri. Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of a human being. Thus he performs the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravana. The Lord then killed a demon named Kabanda, and after making friends with the monkey chiefs, killing Vali, and arranging for the deliverance of Mother Sita, he went to the beach of the ocean. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Ravana kidnapped Sita, he was obstructed on the way by Jatayu, a large bird. But the powerful Ravana defeated Jatayu in the fight and cut his wing. When Ramchandra was searching for Sita, he found Jatayu almost dead and was informed that Sita has been carried off by Ravana. When Jatayu died, Lord Ramachandra did the duty of a son by performing the funeral ceremony. And then he made friends with the monkeys to deliver Sita Devi. Yadroshavi Brahma Vivrita Katakshapata Sambhrantanakramakaro Bhayagirna Ghosha Sindhu Shirasya Arhanam Parigrihya Rupi Padaravindam Upagamya Bhabhasha Etat. After reaching the beach, Lord Ramachandra fasted for 3 days, awaiting the arrival of the ocean personified. When the ocean did not come, the Lord exhibited his pastimes of anger, and simply by his glancing over the ocean, all the living entities within it, including crocodiles and sharks, were agitated by fear. Then the personified ocean fully approached Lord Ramachandra, taking all paraphernalia to worship him. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, the personified ocean spoke as follows. Na tvam vayam jadadiyo nu vidhama bhuman kutastamadi purusham jagatam adhisham yat satvata suragana rajasa prajesha manyoscha bhuta pataya sabhavan gunesha. O all-pervading Supreme Person, we are blinded and did not understand who you are, but now we understand that you are the Supreme Person, the Master of the entire universe, the unchanging and original personality of Godhead. The demigods are infatuated with the mode of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the Lord of Ghosts with the mode of ignorance. But you are the master of all these qualities. Purport. The word Jadadiya refers to intelligence like that of an animal. A person with such intelligence cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without being beaten, an animal cannot understand the purpose of a man. Similarly, those who are dull-minded cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but when punished severely by the modes of material nature, they begin to understand him. A Hindi poet has said, Dukha se sab hari bhaje, sukha se bhaje koi, sukha se agar hari bhaje, dukha kata se hai. When one is distressed, he goes to the church or temple to worship the Lord. But when opulent, he forgets the Lord. Therefore, punishment by the Lord through material nature is necessary in human society, for without it, men forget the supremacy of the Lord due to their dull, blunt intelligence. All right, so this is where we read up to yesterday. But I just had to reread that because the connection was cutting out so bad. Kamam prayahi jahi vishwavaso vameham trailokya ravanam avapnuhi virapatnim badanihi setumi hatyete yashaso vitatyai gayanti digvijayino yamupetya bhupaha. My Lord, you may use my water as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Rāvaṇa, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. He is the son of Vishrava, but is condemned like urine. Please go kill him and thus regain your wife, Sita Devi. O great hero, although my water represents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderfully uncommon deed of your lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. I guess that's probably the god of the ocean, water, condemned water, urine is like it's a pretty, makes sense why that would, anyway, sorry. Okay, purport. It is said that a sun and urine emanate from the same source, the genitals. That's, yeah. When a son is a devotee or a great learned person, the seminal discharge for begetting a son is successful. But if a son is unqualified and brings no glory to his family, he's no better than urine. Here, Rāvaṇa is compared to urine because he was the cause of disturbance to the three worlds. Thus, the ocean personified wanted him killed by Lord Ramachandra. One feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is omnipotence. The Lord can act without regard to material impediments or inconveniences. But to prove that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and was not merely advertised as Godhead or elected by popular vote, he constructed a wonderful bridge over the ocean. Nowadays, it has become fashionable to create some artificial god who performs no uncommon activities. A little magic will bewilder a foolish person into selecting an artificial god because he doesn't understand how powerful God is. Lord Ramachandra, however, constructed a bridge over the water with stone by making the stone float. This is proof of God's uncommonly wonderful power. Why should someone be accepted as God without displaying extraordinary potency by doing something never to be done by any common man? We accept Lord Ramachandra as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he constructed this bridge, and we accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he lifted Govardhan Hill when he was only 7 years old. We should not accept any rascal as God or an incarnation of God, for God displays special features in his various activities. Therefore, the Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita 4:9, Janma karma chame devyam evam yo veti tattvataha takyaham punarjanma naiti mam eti sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. The activities of the Lord are not common. They are all transcendently wonderful and not able to be performed by any other living being. The symptoms of the Lord's activities are all mentioned in the Shastras, and after one understands them, one can accept the Lord as he is. Padvo dado raghupatir vividhadri kurtai setum kapindra karakam pita bhuruhangai Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukaranikai Lankam Vibhishana Drisha Visharagradagtam. Shukadev Goswami said, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhishan, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers headed by Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. Purport. Great mountain peaks covered with trees and plants were thrown into the sea by the monkey soldiers and began to float by the supreme will of the Lord. By the supreme will of the Lord, many great planets float weightlessly in space like swabs of cotton. If this is possible, why should great mountain peaks not be able to float on water? This is the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do anything and everything he likes, because he is not under the control of the material nature. Indeed, material nature is controlled by him. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Only under his direction does prakriti, or material nature, work. Similar information is given in the Brahma Samhita 5:52. Yasya ramati sampritakala chakro govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. Describing how material nature works, the Brahma Samhita says that the sun moves as destined by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, for Lord Ramachandra to construct a bridge over the Indian Ocean with the help of monkey soldiers who threw great mountain peaks into the water is not at all wonderful. It is wonderful only in the sense that it has kept the name and fame of Lord Ramachandra eternally celebrated. And we're reading up to 40. Okay. Savanarendra balarudhara koshta Shridvara gopura sado valabhi vitanka Nirbhajyamana dishana dvajahe mukumba Shringataka gajakular radini vagurna. After entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers, led by chiefs like Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace frontages, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. When the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water pots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by a herd of elephants. Rakshapatishtaravalokya nikumba kumba Dumraksha durmukha surantaka narantaka kadin. Sorry, let me do that again. Tumraksha durmukha surantaka narantakam God! Narantakadin. Putram prahastamatikaya vikampanadin. Sarvanugan samahinur atakumbhakarnam. That wasn't even a difficult line. I don't know why I kept on messing up. When Rāvaṇa, the master of the Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called for Nikumba, Kumbha, Dhumraksha, Durmukha, Surantaka, Narantaka, and other Rakshasas, and also his son Indrajit. Thereafter, he called for Prahasta, Atikaya, Vikampana, and finally Kumbhakarna. Then he induced all his followers to fight against the enemies. Tam yatu dhana pritanam asula prasarshti shakti sharato marakardga durgam sugriva lakshmana marutsutta gandamada nilangada darkshapana panasadivir anvitogat. Lord Ramachandra, surrounded by Lakshman and monkey soldiers like Sugriva, Hanuman, Gandamada, Nila, Angada, Jambavan, and Panasa, attacked the soldiers of the Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, prasas, rishtis, shakti arrows, khargas, and tomaras. Teni kaparagupate rabhipatya sarve dvandvam varutam ibhapatti ratashvayodhai jagnur drumar giri gadeshubhir angadadhya sita bimarshahata mangala ravaneshan. Angada and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramchandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. Thus the soldiers of Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana's soldiers, who had lost all good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. Purport. The soldiers Lord Ramachandra recruited in the jungle were all monkeys and did not have proper equipment with which to fight the soldiers of Ravana, for Ravana's soldiers were equipped with weapons of modern warfare, whereas the monkeys could only throw stones, mountain peaks, and trees. That's pretty fearsome, mountain peaks. It was only Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman who shot some arrows. But because the soldiers of Ravana were condemned by the curse of Mother Sita, the monkeys were able to kill them simply with stones and trees and mountain peaks. There are two kinds of strength, Daiva and Purushakara. Daiva refers to the strength achieved from transcendence, and Purushakara refers to the strength organized by one's own intelligence and power. Transcendental power is always superior to the power of the materialist. Depending on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one must fight one's enemies even though one may not be equipped with modern weapons. Therefore, Krishna instructed Arjuna, Mam anusmara yudhya cha. Think of me and fight. We should fight our enemy to the best of our ability, but for victory, we must depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rakshapati swabala nashtimaviksharushta aruhya yana kamata bisasara ramam sasyandane dyumati matalino panite vibrajamana mahanan nishitai kshuraprai. Thereafter, when Ravana, the king of the Rakshasas, observes that his soldiers had been lost, he was extremely angry. Thus, he mounted his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded forward toward Lord Ram, who sat on the effulgent chariot brought by Matali, the chariot driver of Indra. Then Ravana struck Lord Ramachandra with sharp arrows. Ramastamaha purushada purishayana Kanta samakshama sata pahrita shvavate Tyaktva trapasya palamadya jugupsitasya yachami kala iva kartu alangya virya. Lord Ramachandra said to Ravan, "You are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. You resemble a dog, for as a dog steals... Sorry. You resemble a dog, for as a dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder, in my absence you kidnapped my wife, Sita Devi. Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are most abominable, sinful, and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you." The ocean god called Ravan urine, and Ramachandra is calling him stool. Purport. Nacha daivat param balam. No one can surpass the strength of the transcendence. Ravan was so sinful and shameless that he did not know what the result would be of kidnapping Mother Sita, the pleasure potency of Ramachandra. This is a disqualification of the Rakshasas. Asatyam apratishtam te jagad ahur anishwaram. The Rakshasas are unaware that the Supreme Lord is the ruler of the creation. They think that everything has come about by chance or accident, and that there is no ruler, king, or controller. Therefore, the Rakshasas act independently as they like, going even so far as to kidnap the goddess of fortune. This policy of Ravan's is extremely dangerous for the materialist. Indeed, it brings ruin to the materialist civilization. Nonetheless, because atheists are like Rakshasas, they dare to do things that are most abominable, and thus they are punished without fail. Religion consists of the orders of the Supreme Lord, and one who carries out these orders is religious. One who fails to carry out the Lord's orders is irreligious, and he is to be punished. Evam Shipam Danushi Sandhitama Utsasarja Bhanam Savajramivatad Dridayam Bibeda Sosrigvaman Dashamukar Nyapatad Vimanar Dhaheti Jalpati Jane Sukriti Varikta. After thus rebuking Ravan, Lord Ramachandra fixed an arrow to his bow, aimed it at Ravan, and released the arrow, which pierced Ravan's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravan's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, "Alas! Alas! What has happened? What has happened?" As Ravan, vomiting blood from his 10 mouths, fell from his airplane, just as a pious man falls to the earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are exhausted. It's an interesting example. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 9:21, it is said, "Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti." When the result of their pious activities are exhausted, those who have enjoyed in the heavenly planets fall again to earth. The fruit of activities of this material world are such that whether one acts piously or impiously, one must remain within the material world according to different conditions, for neither pious nor impious actions can relieve one from Maya's clutches of repeated birth and death. Somehow or other, Ravan was raised to an exalted position as the king of a great king with all material opulences. But because of his sinful act of kidnapping Mother Sita, all the results of his pious activities were destroyed. If one offends an exalted personality, especially the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one certainly becomes most abominable, bereft of the results of pious activities. Bereft of the results of pious activities, one must fall down like Ravan and other demons. It is therefore advised that one transcends both pious and impious activities, and remain in the pure state of freedom from all designations. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. When one is fixed in devotional service, he is above the material platform. On the material platform, there are higher and lower positions, but when one is above the material platform, He is always fixed in a spiritual position. Sa gunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. It's Bhagavad Gita 4:26. Ravan, are those like him, may be very powerful and opulent in this material world, but theirs is not a secure position, because after all, they are bound by the results of their karma. Karmana devanitrena. We should never forget that we are completely dependent on the laws of nature. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimuratma kartaham iti manyate. Bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. It's Bhagavad Gita 3:27. One should not be proud of one's exalted position and act like Ravan, thinking oneself independent of material nature's laws. Tato nishkramya lanka yato dhanya sahasrasha mandodarya samam tatra prarudantya upadravam. Thereafter, all the women whose husbands had fallen in the battle, headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravan, came out of Lanka. Continuously crying, they approached the dead bodies of Ravan and the other Rakshasas. Swan swan pantun parishvajya Lakshmaneshu birarditan Rurudu susvaram dina Gnantaya atmanam atmana. Striking their breasts in affliction because their husbands had been killed by the arrows of Lakshman, the women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone. Ha hata sma vayam na ha hata sma vayam nata loko ravana ravana kang yayach charanam lanka tadvihina parardita. O my Lord, O my Master, you epitomize trouble for others, and therefore you are called Ravan. But now you have been defeated, and we also are defeated. For without you, the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? Purport. Ravan's wife Mandodari and the other wives knew very well how cruel a person Ravan was. The very word Ravan means one who causes crying for others. Ravan continuously caused trouble for others, but when his sinful activities culminated in giving trouble to Sita Devi, he was killed by Lord Ramachandra. Na vaiveda mahabhaga bhavam kama vasham gata tejanu bhavam sitaya yena nito dasham imam. O greatly fortunate one, you have come under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. Purport. Not only was Mother Sita powerful, but any woman who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can become similarly powerful. There are many instances of this in the histories of Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of the ideal chaste women, Mother Sita is among them. Mandodari, the wife of Ravan, was also very chaste. Similarly, Draupadi was one of 5 exalted chaste women. As a man must follow great personalities like Brahma and Narad, a woman must also follow the path of such ideal women as Sita, Mandodari, and Draupadi. By staying chaste and faithful to her husband, a woman enriches herself with supernatural power. It is a moral principle that one should not be influenced by lusty desires for another's wife. Matrivat para dareshu. An intelligent person must look upon another's wife as being like his mother. This is a moral injunction from Chanakya Shloka 10. So I need to stand up. I'll stand up after this. vat paradareshu paradraveshu loshtravat mavat sarvabhuteshu yapashyati sapandita. One who considers another's wife as his mother, another's possessions as a lump of dirt, and treats all other living beings as he himself would, is considered to be learned. Thus, Ravana was condemned not only by Lord Ramachandra, but even by his own wife Mandodari. Because she was a chaste woman, she knew the power of another chaste woman, especially such a wife as Mother Sita Devi. Okay, I am going to stand up because I'm starting to fall asleep. 1 second. Oh, Krishna. Oh. Let's see if this will change the connection. I don't think so, but okay. Kritaisha vidava lanka vayam cha kulanandana deha kritognam kridranam atma naraka hetave. O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty, because of you, the state of Lanka and also we ourselves now have no protector. By your deeds, you have made your body fit to be eaten by vulture and your soul fit to go to hell. Purport. One who follows this path of Ravana is condemned in 2 ways. His body is fit to be eaten by dogs and vultures, and the soul goes to hell. As stated by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 16:19, Tan aham dvishata kruran samsareshu naradhaman kshipam yajasrama shubhan asurishveva yonishu. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Thus, the destination of godless atheists, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, and Dantavakra is a hellish condition of life. Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, could understand all this because she was a chaste woman. Although lamenting for the death of her husband, she knew what would happen to his body and soul. For although no one can see directly with one's material eyes, one can see with eyes of knowledge, Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusha. In Vedic history, there are many instances of how one becomes godless and is condemned by the laws of nature. Shri Shuka Uvacha Swanam Vibhishanash Chakre Kosalendranumoditaha Petrameda Vidanena Yaruktam Samparayikam. Shukdev Goswami said, Vibhishan, the pious brother of Ravana and devotee of Lord Ramachandra, received approval from Lord Ramachandra, the king of Kosala. Then he performed the prescribed funeral ceremonies for his family members to save them from the path to hell. Purport. After giving a body, one is transferred to another body, but sometimes, if one is too sinful, he is checked from transmigrating to another body, and thus he becomes a ghost. To save a diseased person from ghostly life, the funeral ceremony, or Shraddha ceremony, as prescribed in authorized Shastra, must be performed. Ravana was killed by Lord Ramachandra and was destined for hellish life. But by Lord Ramachandra's advice, Vibhishan, Ravana's brother, performed all the duties prescribed in relation to the dead. Thus, Lord Ramachandra was kind to Ravana even after Ravana's death. Tato dadarsha Bhagavan Ashoka Vanikashrame Kshamang Savaviraha Vyadhim Shimshapa Mulamashritam. Thereafter, Lord Ramachandra found Sita Devi sitting in a small cottage beneath a tree named Singshapa in a forest of Ashoka trees. She was lean and thin, being aggrieved because of separation from him. Ramriyatamam bharyam Dina Vikshan Vakampata Atma Sandarshahlada Vikasan Mukapankajam. Seeing his wife in that condition, Lord Ramachandra was very compassionate. When Ramachandra came before her, she was exceedingly happy to see her beloved, and her lotus-like mouth showed her joy. Aropya ruheryanam Bhratribhyam Hanumar Yuta Vibhishanaya Bhagavan Tattva Raksho Ganeshatam Lankam Ayushcha Kalpantam Yayo Chirna Vrata Purim. After giving Vibhishan the power to rule the Rakshasa of Lanka for the duration of one kalpa, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Bhagavan, placed Sita Devi on an airplane decorated with flowers, and then got on the plane himself. The period for his living in the forest having ended, the Lord returned to Ayodhya, accompanied by Hanuman, Sugriva, and his brother Lakshman. Avakiryamana Sukusumar Lokapalar Pitai Pati Upagiya Mana Charita whatever Shatadhrityadibir Muda. When Lord Ramachandra returned to his capital Ayodhya, he was greeted on the royal road by the princely order, who showered his body with beautiful fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. Gomutra yavanam shrutva prantaram vikalam bhanam bharam mahakaruniko tyaptapya jatilam standileshayam. Upon reaching Ayodhya, Lord Ramachandra heard that in his absence, his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covering his body with the bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair, and lying on a mattress of kusha. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this. Bharata Praptamakarnya Pauramatya Purohita Paduke Shirasi Nyasya Ramam Pratyudyato Grajam Nandigramat Shibhirad Gitavaditra Niswanai Brahma Ghoshena Chamuhu Patadbhir Brahmavadibhi Swarnakaksha Patakabhir Haimaishchitra Dvajai Ratai Sad Ashvai Rukmasannahir Bhattai Purata Varmabhi Shenibir Varamukyabir Brityaishchaiva Padanugai Parameshtanyupadaya Anyanyuchavachani cha Padayor Nyapatat Premna Praklina Hridayekshana. When Lord Bharata understood that Lord Ramachandra was returning to the capital, Ayodhya, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigram. Lord Bharat was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned Brahmins loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following in the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden rope. These chariots were decorated by flags with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. There were soldiers bedecked with golden armor, servants bearing betel nut, and many well-known and beautiful prostitutes. Many servants followed on foot, bearing an umbrella, whisks, different grades of precious jewels, and other paraphernalia befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharat, his heart softened in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramachandra and fell at his lotus feet with great ecstatic love. Yeah, it's interesting. In Vedic culture, prostitutes were respected. Paduke nyasapurta pranjalir bhashpalochana tam ashlisha chiram dorbhyam snapayam netrajar jalay Rama Lakshmana Sitabhyam Viprebhyo yerha sattama Tebhya swayam namaschakre prajabhischa namaskrita. After offering the wooden shoes before Lord Ramachandra, Lord Bharat stood with folded hands, his eyes full of tears. Lord Ramachandra bathed Bharat with tears while embracing him with both arms for a long time. Accompanied by Mother Sita and Lakshman, Lord Ramachandra then offered his respectful obeisances unto the learned Brahmins and the elderly persons in the family, and all the citizens of Ayodhya offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Oh, I think that's what we're reading up to today. Yeah. So then what are we going to read tomorrow? It's 40. What time is it? 8:27. Okay. So 40. Okay, so tomorrow we'll read. Ayodhya's citizens offered their respects unto Lord Ram. Seeing their king after a long absence, they offered garlands, waved their upper cloths, and danced in great joy. Then devotees carried different objects to serve and honor Lord Ram. As the Lord sat on his airplane of flowers, glorified by the women and reciters, he appeared like the moon with the stars and planets. Then Vashishta performs the Abhishek. And then we'll read about the rule of Lord Ram, Rama Raja. Right. And then we'll also read chapter 11. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Kishori Mohan Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shmar Bhakti Vranta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Guru Dev ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shmar Bhakti Vranta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupa Shila Bhakti Vranta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupa Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Maha-Bhagavat Shila Gokshara Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Char Gosai Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Surup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai, Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Ramachandra ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Oops. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Oh, Kishore Prabhu, it's Ganga Didi is a devotee, really nice devotee from South Africa, who's been joining the readings every day for a long time. And she's gone through a lot of trouble this last year and this year. There were riots there, and now it's a huge storm that destroyed all the electricity and everything, and like a really intense storm. And yeah, and she was joining every day at, it's either 2:30 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning. So yeah, she was the one making the big sacrifice to join these readings. All right, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. So yeah, everybody pray for her that her power comes back, and that her house wasn't destroyed too much, or that everything can resume for her. She's been through so much trouble, like so much trouble. Anyhow, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. See you tomorrow.